That's his tools. Well, you have so many tools now, especially in multimedia and technology and internet. But those tools, they only help you to do what you want to do, whatever that is. So, Phuc mentioned about the psychology of it. In my PhD study, psychology was huge.
Yes.
It was absolutely huge. It's completely central to my study.
Especially because the music is the special art because it don't have the image, but it can build the image in our brain when we hear the music.
Well, you know, there have been many studies, because I only discovered them when I did a PhD,
yes,
right? That there were many psychological studies done about music. You know, how music affects your mood.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, even a style. For example, we think marching music for an army, and like that rhythm and that beat, it captures, it brings the soldiers together, you know. And then you have like, I can mention so many styles of music, you know. There's music and it makes you want to sing. There's music and it makes you want to dance. There's music and it makes you want to cry. There's music that makes you want to fight. And I discovered that scientists for many years have been studying the effect of music on people. So we know, for example, the minor chord, when you play a minor chord, we call it the sad chord. It makes you feel a little sad. The major chord is the one that makes you feel very happy. It is the one that makes people dance and so on.
Yes.
My point, just for a moment, is that there have been numerous, many, hundreds and hundreds of studies done about this by psychologists and by scientists.
Yes.
And what they have done is they've connected all of that with technology.
Yeah.
So my study focused on music reality televisions. That shows like the X Factor, Vietnam's Got Talent. So I studied that for 7 years. And the thing I discovered most is that it's very scientific.
Okay, we will focus on your big discovery and your point of view about that later. Now, I think you can, interact with my students first.
Sure.
And anyone have any question for him about the multimedia, about the music, and about even how to give learning English or something like that. All of you have any question? You have any questions for my friend? Because you're learning multimedia, huh? So I think you have a lot of things you have to do it, and you research and study every day, and you have your knowledge about that. But it's not all of that. I think you have some question for him.
So I actually want everybody to ask me some question, even if the question is small.
Yeah.
And now, just something, I do a lot of teaching and lecturing, and I really want people to get your communication going for you. So, for example, a classic problem with people communicating is that they're shy. We have to overcome those things. That's self-communication. That's giving yourself confidence to say, I have a question. Am I silly to ask it? Am I foolish? Will I look stupid? No. There is no such a thing. It does not exist, stupid questions. That does not exist. So I want everybody to ask me something. Maybe your question is little. That doesn't matter. Maybe your question is a big one. That doesn't matter, because we will all learn from each other's external communication. Now, we start with you,
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
You're a composer and
Yes.
you compose music and
Yes.
song. When you compose it, what effect, what inclusion human about like melody and song, influence? What influence?
What influence you mean? What inspires me to compose? Well, I could mention many interesting things about my study.
Yes.
Okay. I was very lucky. When I grew up in Ireland, actually we were just an ordinary family, quite poor in fact. But one thing that we had in our house was music. My mommy had 5 brothers, and they were all like really, really good musicians, you know. So musicians came into my house a lot. So I'm only maybe 8 or 9 or 10 years old. So they put a seed, like planting a seed, yeah, inside me to love music. You know, so I learned about music to love music, not to think. You know, one thing I will mention here is that a lot of people, they use music as a social tool, okay? So the classic one is some guy, he plays the drums, yeah? And the guy asks him, why did you play the drums? And he said, so I can get the girl. You understand? That's the wrong reason to play the drums. He is using that as a social tool, you understand? But I never looked at it that way. My parents taught me that music is something beautiful and that you love it. So my point is that if music is genuinely inside you, so because it's the language of emotion. So when you're only a kid, if you learn music, your emotions develop really well. So later, when you get to a better level, so you become a good musician and then you start to compose and you start to write. You have developed emotionally really well. You understand? And that will help you when you're writing a song. So like Phuc mentioned, I wrote a song for his show called My New Home. We can show you later or even on the internet. So he just told me the story about his show concept. So that, because my emotional development is good, I can connect now easily, do you understand? I don't have to think too much. I just went, wow, what a story. So that story connected with me inside, and it became easy for me to write. So you need to develop, I mentioned here, see, everything here has a meaning, and you must really learn it. Follow the correct steps, yeah? You cannot be a good musician if your hands don't work really well, yeah? You can't be a good musician. We call that's called dexterity, yeah? So you need good dexterity to be a good musician. So step 1, develop your hands really well. Step 2, learn the instrument, you understand? So writing a song is like that. If you've got good emotional development, you can become a great songwriter. Because music is the language of emotion, yeah? And it's not a social tool. It's not something just to, oh yeah, you know, I want lots of girls chasing me or lots of boys or something, or to make me look beautiful or to be successful. You know, it is not for that reason. But I discovered from my study that most people, maybe 99% of people in the music business, no easy way to say it, they're fake. They just want to use music so that they can become famous, yeah? Everybody wants to be famous. I never cared about being famous. I just write the song because it's just beautiful language. And that's how you become a good composer. If your reason is genuine, you understand that you don't care about money, you don't care about fame. You just have this feeling, and you just do it. So you're very, very connected. And that's actually internal communication. You're communicating. It's like even being zen about it, being balanced. You've got harmony inside, you can bring the harmony outside through your music. Okay.
Okay, anyone have a question? Tụi em có thể hỏi tiếng Việt để translate cũng được.
Can you understand me clearly?
Thầy hỏi thầy có hiểu
If you
nào
do
không?
not understand, please stop me.
Dạ, nếu không hiểu thì nhớ dừng thầy lại.
Okay, let me tell you something important, by the way. English, a very high level of English is very useful because that is the language of media in the world. I mention that because English is not my first language. In my country we have our own language. It's called Gaelic language, and only people in Ireland know it. It's too difficult.
Yeah.
So we had to learn English at the best level, so we could interact and engage with the
So
world.
we know one small language. That means we have a more chain, you know, of
Exactly.
the world. Yeah.
So
You have any question? Let's talk about it.
yeah, well, I have big plans for Vietnam. We have agreed to work together to build a big production
Yes.
and to connect. I already have. We already have many things moving. Yeah, many wheels are turning. People in Ireland want to come here and work with you. Many of my colleagues and my friends in the industry in Ireland and in the UK and London. London is very powerful, you know.